Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Y'all see I'm up here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm already up here like laughing because I can see one of these gentlemen in the background. And it's just, this is Freestyle Fridays. Welcome to Java with Jimmy, the Java Cafe. Freestyle Fridays, as requested a couple of weeks ago. Darrin Howell, who is a kind of co-creator of Freestyle Fridays, almost going on 2 years now. And he is no stranger to the Java Cafe, and neither is who you all know as Props McFly. He is the digital producer for all this wonderful, let me see if I'm getting it right. I got it right. For all this wonderful stuff here in the Java Cafe and the website. And so you all have got to know Darrin a lot and Props through conversation. But today he is actually in the room. And so I'm getting ready to bring both of them in. I'm going to go try to say good morning real quick before we get in the combo, because yeah, we'll be in the comments today because I know you all are going to be very interactive. Somebody inbox Asia and Rob and let them know that Darrin and Props is in the room. So we're going to get ready to bring them in now. I'm going to let them know so they can be ready to come into the room. And
Don't mind me. I'm just waking up like everybody should with that job.
Hold on. Talk about product placement.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I got the flight though. The flight B6.
I got the 7th and Peachtree. Darrin, we should have figured out a way to get you a candle, have you swing through, and
right.
Yo, they're really smelling good. Thaddeus said today's about to be lit. Oh Jesus. So good morning, everybody. It's Freestyle Fridays again. Those of you, we don't really need to do any particular introductions. If you're here on a Friday morning, then you know these gentlemen, but both of them are good friends and brothers that I've known for a very long time. And again, no strangers. So I'll let them go ahead and say good morning. Darrin, I'm going to ask you to start, and then Props, I'll take it to you. And after good morning, you wanted to set some context in reference to yesterday. And so we'll let you do that. And it's Freestyle Friday, and there are going to be points today where I'll probably be as red as the sign under my face, or there may be times where I just simply do things either, let me see, how do you do it? Do things like this or like that or whatever, and just let them go at it, because if I take myself out, there's no volume. So I can't take myself off the screen. But Darrin, go ahead and say good morning, brother.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here. Props, this is a request. You wanted me to join you on a dialogue. I'm looking forward to getting it in. Morning to the Java Cafe family. It's Freestyle Friday, so this can go whichever direction we go in, and looking forward to this discussion this morning. So
Props, good morning. Greet the people.
Oh, before Props,
go ahead.
Enough time to finish everything because of that music still. That music goes so long. You always got enough time.
I told him he gotta chop it out one of these days.
Oh, Jesus. I was supposed to actually go. You're going to kill me, Props, because I was supposed to go to the studio yesterday, and I kind of forgot.
Yo, so let me get one of those drops.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me see if this one is queued up and ready. Let's see what happened, y'all.
Should we take a sip?
Bet we got some stuff coming down the pike, but Props, go ahead and say good morning. It's always important to have some Black Joy. And we're going to talk about a few things today, but Props, go ahead, sir.
You're
That's it.
My name is but I do I know him though.
See, you did not do this, Jesus.
Um, nah. Yesterday we had a brief conversation about a particular topic, and it seemed like most of us, you know what I'm saying, just took it and ran, but we forgot to acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, the people that are suffering from senseless gun violence. Although I'm down in the South and I'm carrying now legally, I am from Boston. I have been a victim of selfless or senseless gun violence. And I feel like I'm in the same boat with a lot of people in the room. Um, I do want to give this time, you know what I'm saying, so we could give a moment of silence to all of those that we've lost. They're gone, but they're never forgotten. Um, so yeah, let's get that popping.
For those of you that usually tune in for Freestyle Fridays, we're still going to do this at the end that Darrin facilitates in reference to others we have lost. And we've named gun violence, COVID, and things like that. So we definitely wanted to set that context this morning. As much as we're going to have a good time and I'll be read and things like that, we wanted to definitely acknowledge that. And Props and I decided that, and then Darrin, you're definitely welcome to be a part of this in a whole separate convo, like a Java after dark, so we can really have a real, convo in the evening. Mornings are kind of different. We're going to talk about, and one of the things that came up yesterday, Darrin, was like, and we got on this because Thaddeus, who's in the room, was saying that in this coming, you're not giving them no free, what you call it, Red Bull with props. Here we go. But what Thaddeus was saying, we need to be in a time where we came to some sort of suggestion that we need to know how to grow our food, take care of animals, have gun education, and what was the other? Gun education and preparation, vote, and I forgot what the fifth thing was. And so that's kind of how we got there. But what I had said, go ahead, Darrin.
Well, and again, I didn't catch the topic. I mean, the conversation yesterday, so apologize. But definitely can understand the South, props you down there, and just that shift in environments, right? Like from being in a city like Boston, where the density between people that may be active is very closer than the way the South is a lot wider, in terms of just space and the culture, right? The culture and the environment. So, but one thing that was a trigger that you said a couple of times, and I was like, senseless. Like when I've always gotten triggered when someone used senseless violence, where it's like, because is it senseless because it doesn't make sense that was the action taken, or is it like that word?
No, I hear what you're saying, and as a gun owner, wow. All right, first off, to the room, I'm so much more than just a gun owner, and I was trying to avoid this conversation.
I can't never own a gun, so it's weird because it's like I've carried guns and I can't carry a gun legally. So
I hear what you're saying, and again, this is a bit of that conversation that I didn't want to have. I feel like whenever you have a gun or a weapon, a sword, knife, whatever your intent is to use it in good manner or whatever. You know what I mean? So somebody in your mentality, your mind frame, you might be willing to use it for self-defense. You know what I'm saying? In that case, it's not senseless. However, I lost a cousin. I'll name him, Seti Phillips. You know what I'm saying? He was at a barbecue in Boston. You know what I'm saying? A female was at the party and she was getting handled by a gentleman that came with her. My cousin said he stepped up and was like, yo, that's a female. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Killed that energy And before he could turn around, there was a gun in the back of his head and shots released. You know what I'm saying? That was senseless because of that gentleman's pride who was stopped or whatever. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, even if you do have a motive behind why that happened, I'm sure that dude's sitting behind the wall right now like, yo, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. It could have been a lot different. That was senseless. You know what I'm saying?
It was interesting when you said it, Props, because me, Darrin, I think Carlos, we've actually on here, not way before Java with Jimmy, we actually had online debates and talked about it in some combos around we need to know of that word, you know what I mean, senseless. And it's like I get what Darrin is saying and you're saying too. It's the balance of, because some people say it generally, and I'm glad how Darrin sort of framed it. They say it generally, oh, senseless violence, but it Props, you get this. If you from the street, it makes sense.
If one person does another person wrong and is running and hiding and he owes them thousands of dollars, I'm not saying he had it coming, you know what I'm saying? But you generally know, like, and I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. Like, there's a difference between gun violence in my neighborhood versus gun violence in a more of a pocketed residential neighborhood. I live in Midtown, and it's like the South End, you know what I'm saying, in relevance to Boston. So people that don't have come to this neighborhood to target people, residents of this neighborhood, you know what I mean? And by all means, I'm gonna defend myself. And if it happens, I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, oh, that was senseless violence. So I get it. I get it.
And you know, one thing that, you know, and James this week has hit me to a word, right? Like, words have so much meaning to it, right? Like, so when we was talking about, you know, right or wrong, I was getting the word responsible ownership, right? Like, you can have a weapon. It's
That's
are
his
you
thing.
responsible with that weapon,
Yep.
right? Like, are you using it in a self-defense manner? Are you you know, like, do you legally own it based on society standards, right? Like, there's all these things of being responsible to have things that can cause bodily harm, right? Like, that can unfortunately take a life, right? Like, so to know that
an automobile
right,
could do so. You know what I'm
right, to
saying?
be a
And if you
responsible
mishandle,
driver, responsible, you know, so and even with like what you described, like that incident where it's like it wasn't the wise thing to do. James put me on to that word this week, like where some things is like, damn, right and wrong. It's like, is it really based on wisdom? Because the word right sometimes doesn't feel right, right? Like, it's
Not
like,
all about that combo.
you know, so it's like, what is the wise thing to do where you're foreseeing the future that you don't want, right? Like, where it's like, damn, my ego's just been damaged, my pride has been hurt, I want to respond, I want to get this energy out, but is it the right or wrong? And it's like, for me personally, I'm not going to share too much, but it's like when you're wrestling with, damn, I'm feeling a certain type of way, and I get, you know, if I make this decision, others will be impacted, I will be impacted, these type of things, but it's like this feeling's overwhelming. What is going to be that word that gives some proper context to it? So it was like, you know, you're making a wise decision, you know, so because that's why I was when the senseless word, it stuck out so much so quickly, where I was like, all right, hold on, I know Props is from, you know, like
no, trust
and
me.
I didn't hear the conversation yesterday, right? So that's why I acknowledged I wasn't, you know, I didn't hear it, so I can't really give that perspective based on that information. So it was just like immediately, well, this is Freestyle Friday, right? Conversation can go anywhere. So it was like just wanted to throw that out there in terms of like how we use words does provide the reactions that sometimes happen, right? Like,
No, I get it. And like I told James yesterday, like being from there, and I left at a reasonable age, but being from there, you know what I'm saying? I celebrated my 21st birthday there. So I was an adult by the time I left Boston. You know what I'm saying? So like I was under the scrutiny of believing that guns were taboo because of the laws or what have you in Massachusetts. By the time I came down here, like I told James, it was a pride thing. You know what I'm saying? I learned that I had the right, and I exercised my right. Right now, I'm so proud, and I want to use that word strongly. I'm so proud and I feel accomplished because I feel like I've obtained something that was never obtainable. I'm calling Massachusetts trying to figure out how to get state reciprocity. Like, yo, I got it here. How come I can't bring it up? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I'm never thinking about going back to Massachusetts with an arsenal. It was just the right to. Like, how do I earn the right to? You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the things that Danny, you and I have talked about, and I'm going to kind of move us on because there's a whole lot we got to talk about. And I think a good segue with this is, I'll do that in a second, but Conan had just put up a point. It's all senseless. And I think when he said this part, it's a correlation because the first part of it is like, wait, you know, similar to what Props had said, it's all senseless, but it ties together. I think Darrin or Props said when dude is now behind the wall, and he's like thinking about, you know, could I have maybe applied wisdom? And so another piece of this is, and Darrin, you talked about it, is the feeling. And we've talked
and that's why they say crimes of passion, right? Like where you can't control the feeling. So that's why I'm pushing back to the word senseless, because in that moment, if you don't know how to get control over your feelings, you will exercise that emotion, right? That anger, that hatred, that frustration, it will come out. So that's when you're sitting behind the wall, you're reflecting on, why couldn't I control that feeling? Why couldn't I get a hold of it? And that's something that we don't, you know, especially in our community, think about therapy. Think about why that feeling.
Perfect segue. Go ahead.
A control over. So it's like, I push back to senseless because when you're actively in that lifestyle and you see like other people are putting that battery on your back to fuel that emotion that's going on, you will react to the feeling and then have time to think about that feeling when you're behind those four walls, or when you're, you know, so it's like, I think that we dismiss that feeling because as men, we're taught to hide from feelings, right?
Come.
Like a sign of strength could be viewed amongst wolves as a sign of weakness, right? Like I'm making a decision based on wisdom, not based upon the feeling that I'm feeling, right? Like, because I'm trying to show I'm controlling the reaction to that feeling, right? And that feeling isn't going to go away, you know? So it's like, I think this is an opportunity to just talk about, like, as men, how do we have that conversation when you're feeling like, damn, I feel weak making this decision, but I know it's the wise thing to do.
I agree. I also feel like because there are other fixtures in our community, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm smart enough to understand that feeling that I have is pride. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there that aren't even in tune with themselves to understand what feeling that they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? But we all have the same frequencies around, the same influences, the same music. You know what I'm saying? Like it there's other things within the community that may spark that feeling, or maybe confine us to not sharing our feelings because we're men. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like the laws versus the screening for anybody to obtain a weapon or a firearm, it's just outrageous. It's crazy because the illegal gun owners and the illegal guns are going to be used regardless whether there's a law or not. The new law actually just dictates just the legal gun owners to do and move around. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the only ones that are abiding by laws. So it's crazy.
Let's pull us back with sort of still in this space, but one of the things that came up, Darrin, in the convo yesterday, as I said before, where Thaddeus was like, perception of where times are going. There is the element of sort of, you know, we as Black folks need to be educated and prepared to protect. And I'm talking not sort of, you know, hood protect. And we were talking about defenses, defending or in a defense mode. But even in that, where Props talked about, there's a mentality of now I can, he mentioned the word pride, bringing it back to us talking things out about emotions, and Props named it that sometimes we can't we feel confined that we can't even name it. How do you're a parent, Dad, you're a father. How do you balance between the protective and also being in a state of mind that you say you were in a case where you could legally have it, and that's for protection of family. But in situations, and you've been very honest about, your accomplishments in past, traffic one day, we was in traffic the other day, and a situation happens. How have you come to a point where you feel, because I'll be honest, I watched you the other day. I'll be very transparent with you. When I realized what was going on, when I looked, I saw you and I'm like, Darrin, kind of don't roll like that. Darrin, don't get hyped. Darrin, don't. How do you balance being you go through all the process that Props talks about to get legal, and you put in a situation where you got to go back and use wisdom? How do you balance that?
Can I be honest with you, James?
Let me get D go and then come right back.
All right.
No. Props, go. Go ahead. Freestyle. It's freestyle.
I'm listening, and it's a sign of maturity, because like before you have it, you're like, yo, I wish somebody would. I wish you would. The moment you have it, you're like, yo, I could change my life and someone else's life, like upon an instant, a flash like that. I don't want my life to change. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be under scrutiny or having to go through, even though there's insurance and there's stuff like that. Like, okay, I'm liable, I'm legal to own it, but the moment that trigger is pulled, I still have to go through the legal drama of lawyers and to prove my case and this, that, and the third. Nobody want to go through that. I'm still this. Like, come on, man. Like,
so that's where, again, and you're right, maturity, it comes with time, right? Like, there is that window of time where to be accepted amongst that population, you have to be willing to say, I don't care about what the consequences is. I'm going to still make this act. I'm going to still portray this image. I'm still going to be this type of, because I call it the identity phase. When you're trying to find your identity, who you are, especially during that early ages of teenage, I say 12 to 24, like, you're willing to take on whatever type of options. But at 40, it's like, yeah, I can look at the situation and be like, this ain't that serious. This ain't worth putting myself in a space that I already am familiar with, that I don't want to experience ever again. I don't want to have to go through the legal system. I don't want to have to deal with the reality of being removed from society. I don't want to have to deal with I can think now, but that only happens over time and going through enough experiences. So how do you communicate that 12 to 24 age population when they're struggling with identity in a community that accepts that behavior? That population accepts that behavior, right? It's a rite of passage to go through these institutions and these tiers, right? It's a rite of passage to have this type of it. Oh, you've been shot at too? Oh, you done been locked up too? It becomes something that you connect, you bond with over. So how do you break out of that mentality where it's like over years of saying, oh, if somebody popped off the way the person popped off, it was ironic. I got a bat in my car. Like, I don't have a bat because I have problems with anybody. It's a leftover toy from the toy drive, right? And when everything calmed down, I was like, James, look, there's a bat in the car. Like,
I
it's
wasn't
not
gonna
that serious. Like, the guy's upset. You're driving a nice vehicle, and you're taking all the precautions I appreciate. So I'm not really worried about that person right there that's upset. He'll get over it in the next 30 seconds when he drives in the opposite direction and we're no longer in the peripheral vision, right? Like, it wasn't that serious. But yeah, 20 years ago, it's like, yo, hop out the car. Let's get it popping, right? Like, that's maturity. Right? Like, there's no, but how do you transfer that message to a population that's like, yeah, I'm ready to go all in, right? And you understand that, where it's like, yo, you got to go through some trials and tribulations. You got to hit that brick wall to hear my voice. You got to be in that closed, confined space to really hear, like, you had a choice to do something that was an alternative, but it wasn't that attractive amongst you or the population or the things you're interested in. It comes over time. And sometimes people have to go through that phase and you hope they come out on the other side, right? Like, I'm at a space where my own children, I'm like, I just want you to come out on the other side. I see what you're attracted to. And I can't provide advice to other families and parents where I can't say, hey, I'm going through it myself. Like, my children are attracted to something that I wanted to have them avoid, that feeling of like, I got to be connected to this. I got to be involved in this. And I'm like, now I got to hope you just phase out of it. You start hearing those seeds that's been planted all along, because I knew right from wrong. I chose to do wrong. Like, there was a choice and it was a reason unconscious to me at the time why I was making that choice. And it was around acceptance, right? I wanted to feel secure, safe, accepted amongst a certain population. So I had to behave and do things in order to feel I was accepted. And so I get what people are saying around senseless, but what about if you haven't had the knowledge or experience to make sense of those feelings, right? So it's like you're dismissing a population, which then turns and be like, you don't understand what I'm going through. You don't understand what I'm like my challenges. So,
and that's just the perspective up here. And then I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm applying that to gang culture out west. You know what I'm saying? These kids that don't have anybody. You know what I'm saying? The foster kids and the adopted kids lost in the system, and they get picked up by the wrong guidance. And these kids feel like they're in debt of the wrong, you know what I'm saying? In debt to the wrong person. And that's how it starts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's bigger than just a gun control or ammo control situation. No matter how many laws that are in place, there's always going to be a black market or something like that. So I really feel like it has to, I don't want to get too deep, but we have to look at resolving these problems at a different angle. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we've already tried to do, it's been implemented since the war on drugs, you know what I'm saying? And these weapons still keep coming in the community, you know what I'm saying? They're still used in the hands of these people with these confused emotions, you know what I'm saying? So like I don't know what to say, because at the end of the day, I'm not for that. Like, when I speak on having my gun, I'm not condoning those acts.
Let me ask. Go ahead, Darrin.
So it's interesting, because how do we switch that narrative, right? I remember. I remember.
You know what? I'm going off the screen because I was just getting ready to ask what both of you do to begin to shift the. Go ahead.
So
in a few minutes.
I had these suggestions or thoughts when I first started in this journey of getting to the other side, and it was like, sometimes you got to meet it head on. Like, you can't run away from it. You got to acknowledge it, right? Like, if they're feeding into, I don't want to feel weak, I don't want no one else to take advantage of me, I don't want to feel punked, I don't want all these things that's going on, how do you create a different culture of how to resolve that without the gun, right? Like, it used to be a time where it was like, yo, let's shoot the fair ones real quick, let's get this out, right? Like, there was a window of time where it was about the hands, and the gun was seen as an act of weakness. Like, oh, you just couldn't take that, you know, that, excuse me, good morning, everybody, that ass whooping, right? Like, that was what it was. But you was respected because people knew you stood up for yourself. You wasn't going to just be walked on. How do we shift that back? And do you challenge the culture that is in place to be like, nah, I understand, you know, there's lives lost on both sides. There's all this, right? That's a result of playing the game. But only someone that has played the game can talk to that population too, to be like, ain't nothing gonna bring your peoples back. Like, how long are you gonna keep this cycle going? How do you create living monuments? Shout out to Darrell Jones for that talk years ago about, you know, you got to create a living monument for your mans that's not here. How are you doing something in his memory that's not keeping the cycle going, right? Like, I think the messengers to that.
I think creating idols such as Nipsey Hussle or a Darren Howell or a Props, creating idols that these young people look up to and admire. I remember when I was growing up, I was admiring everybody in the Source magazine because that's what I was relating to. You know what I'm saying? Success looks different now. You don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to be an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? So like, whatever is successful to these young people. I was awakened by somebody in Jersey. Like getting on the train, I had a group of kids call me OG. And I thought about it like, yo, bro, I feel young as fuck. Like, what are you calling me OG for? I'm the reflection of their success or what they perceive as success. I'm tatted. I'm walking around with jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Everything that they want, I've already acquired. So I guess in their eyes, I am the OG. Yo, OG, all right, I got you. So like,
how do you
maintaining
that, Props? To Darrin's point, how do we
just maintaining integrity, bro? Standing for something. Like, look how much of a loss we felt when we lost Nipsey Hussle. You know what I'm saying? And look what he stood for. Although he was active as a gang member in one aspect of his life, all of that was dying down because he put business up front, and everybody was glorifying him of his business mind. You know what I'm saying? And this is what success looks like. Nobody want to be that dirty dude fighting in the street. My idol is wearing gold chains. Like, how do you get that? Like, how do you get that? And if he's talking about moving into business and this, that, and the third, of course, I'm going to try to follow as a young individual. And I feel like we don't have any idols anymore. Everything is oversaturated. Whenever you turn on the television, our culture, everybody walks around with jewelry. Everybody is successful. Everybody's a home wife of Atlanta or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is being honest to be like, yo, I'm really still eating oodles or noodles every lunch, or you know what I'm saying? Nobody's really holding on to that struggle or being real, so it could connect to people of the same struggle. Like, nobody is being transparent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because of the smoke and mirrors, these kids don't feel like they could be you. They don't feel like your success is obtainable. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we lost our idols, and it's now replaced with this trap frequency or whatever is glorified now or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no more moral story or moral sitcom on television. Our programming is completely different. You know what I'm saying? So like, as a culture, we have to be aware of what we're putting in the forefront for our kids to glorify. You know what I'm saying? The Tyler Perrys and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Darrin, I know you go.
Yeah, it's exactly what, you know, this reflective moment for me has been in turning 40, right? Where it's like, I call my journey right now, it's strictly spiritual, right? Like it has nothing to do with me. I know it's a higher power that put me on this path. I remember when I asked that power for help. Like, I'm not naive, like, to being like, oh, there's something else that put me in this to provide me with a purpose, right? A feeling of understanding purpose. So what you just was describing is like what was needed to feel that, though, right? That I can do it too. And it was those tangible examples. If there wasn't men or women that modeled the success that I thought I couldn't achieve, and that success, now that I think back, had nothing to do necessarily with the tangibles, right? They were at a certain level of peace. They didn't have that guilt. They didn't have that shame. They didn't have those things that was holding them back from being their best selves, because that's what those challenges and obstacles create when you're trying to move forward, right? When you're like, damn, I got this charges on my record, or I done been homeless, I done been addicted, I done had this much time on the inside. Like, I don't want the larger society to really know about that, right? I just want a chance, though. Like, give me a chance and let me just move forward, right? So when you can't make that connection to the person that's going through that struggle, right? Like, I'm looking for out. I'm looking for like just someone or something to provide an out, because I want it. Like, if it doesn't start with,
I agree.
And it was like, over time, what you just highlighted is what has been missing. It's like, well, who are those examples? Who is my son looking up to at 21? Like at 21, I can comfortably say I broke the cycle with a young black man, because he had all the opportunities to be focused on all the things in the streets. It was available, whether it was my past, his father's past, the environment in which he was being raised in. He had every chance to do it, but for some reason he was interested in what I was doing, right? That he's now, people are asking him if he's interested in running for elected office. He's a liaison for Roxbury, like, and he's doing it on his name, right? To be like, I don't want you to sit back and be like, Darren's my dad and da-da-da. No, do it on your name. And he's been doing it in a way where I'm sitting back saying, you're responsible, you're independent, you're mature. I wish I had someone like that had that type of influence that I could have been attracted to while I was struggling to find a path out, right? Instead, I had to go double down in to be like,
but you probably live vicariously through him. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure you provided a lot of tools, you know what I'm saying, for him to wiggle in the room that he wanted to wiggle in. You know what I'm saying?
The consistency. It's like, if I didn't model that, yo, I'm really trying to figure something else out. Like there has to be a pathway out of this poverty, right? It has to be a pathway out of the cycle. I know I'm not naive to saying I see the light at the end of the road. It's death with jail. I'm not going to be that, 1 in a million success story. I seen the real writing of saying, no, I'm on that 99% on the other side. I'm just buying time right now. And so recognizing I wanted it out, but not knowing how to get out, right? And so that's where you was talking about, Props. If there ain't someone that I can relate to, you're just talking right now.
I understand. And I was frustrated in Boston. Like,
don't look like a package. Don't look like you need a package trying to tell me to stop doing what I'm doing. It ain't gonna happen. Like, it's like I'm trying to throw you some work, right? Like, and that's the ego talk. Like, who this old head trying to tell me to stop doing boom, boom, boom? And
I understand. And I had to align myself up with somebody who believed in my next endeavors. You know what I'm saying? And I told James this a long time ago. Like, it was frustrating for me to try to turn the lost teenager, the troubled teenager, into the graphic designer. And if it wasn't for, and I tell him this all the time, Antonio from Antonio and Saldi,
my guy,
that was my college years of me learning the industry, to tap in, to be, you know what I'm saying, move on or what have you. I felt like, because he was part of the entity that I was glorifying, you know what I'm saying, and it was a local hero, like it was easier for me to communicate with him than it would be somebody down the road or what have you. And I'm glad, you know what I'm saying, I made that jump to have that conversation with him, you know what I'm saying. And
he gave you a chance. That's the other piece
he did give me. He did. I don't know what he saw in me, Lord knows, because I was a badass, you know what I'm saying. I actually, James remembers this. My famous quote is, "It's not my job responsibility. It's not my job responsibility." You know
Darren, have you ever heard E go off? I mean, go off. Antonio E, have you ever heard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me. Like, and it's ironic that you say Antonio gave you that opportunity and had that impact, because while I was in this space, when I seen Antonio doing the housing fights and he was on the front line doing that made me feel a little bit like, oh, at least I know somebody I respect. I looked up to. I seen how he was moving in that generation that he was connected to, right? Like, and it was like you said, a local hero involved in the activist stuff. And I'm like, all right, now I see somebody I know from around the way. And so it was that also like that, it was that stamp you needed. I felt I needed at times, like from someone older that I did have that respect for, doing something that I was involved in that the hood really couldn't necessarily connect to yet, right? Like, it was like going through the journey of transition does become lonely, because the folks are not necessarily understanding why you're looking to explore that direction when you're so used to doing something they're familiar with seeing, right? And it was like, yeah, but it has an expiration date. And I'm not looking for an expiration date right now. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way to keep the ball moving forward. So to see now, if I can say at 21, I went to jail, 22 released, started working with Chuck at 24, I'm at 40. I got probably the same amount of time on the streets than I got involved in this field of community service and activism. So now it's a wrestle of D versus Darren. I like the Darren a lot better than the D, right?
All right, so please keep in mind that there's a lot of stuff that you learned as D
that
that
helps.
a lot of people can't pay for it. Like you can't pay for street smarts. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay for that.
I just what you call it.
No school.
It's not, and it used to feel weird. That's why I said I recognize the purpose now. I know why I'm here, and I got something to do to keep me motivated to live. Right? I'm not trying to just survive day to day. I want to live, and I have something at times that it hurts to feel like, geez, you made me go through I went through so much challenges, obstacles, the feelings of survivor guilt, all this to be reminded that you're going to understand pain and you're going to be able to help people through pain because you can relate to it because you had to go through it. You got to the other side of it. That to me became the weight I've been carrying of like, damn, I know what you're going through. Oh, can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my daughter? Can you be that example to show them that they too can get out if they put their effort in? They show that resilience. They got self-drive, right? Self-motivation. Like I took all those things that I was like, oh, hold on. He ain't really embarrassed about saying that he was a crack addict. You know, he ain't really like, those were the models where I'm like, well, he do got the big body Benz right there though. He do own his house. Even if that is his story, he didn't run from it, right? And so as I journeyed in this last 16 years, I never hesitated to say I carried guns, participated, been affected by it. I said I had to learn that ain't the only way to live. That ain't the only way to move, right? And consistency, I feel like allowed me to get out, to be like, you know what? I'm really not trying to be, I don't want to get sideswiped by you, and I don't want you to get sideswiped by me. Like just keeping it 100 with the hood, right? To be like, listen, the stuff I'm trying to do, bring attention to the issues that's affecting our community. I'm quite sure if they're doing their job, they don't, did their homework. So they know what the resume looks like on that end. So if I'm still associated, being congregated, and I know what you're doing, I ain't knocking it, I did it. Do you want to get sideswiped too? Because that's that wisdom, right? That's not saying, I miss them sandbox relationships and chilling and just chopping it up. But I'm not naive too to be like, what you're doing cost me everything I got going on, the direction that I got, and I don't want to get sideswiped. Doesn't change the love I got for you. Just know that the association has to have some distance, and that becomes the challenge where it's like it gets lonely because it's like, damn, you didn't really come. And how do I build relationships with people on this side that you don't have that sandbox relationship with, right? I really don't know you, and so it's been an interesting, but it's consistency, maturity, time.
Nah, I understand completely. And that's a bit of moving city to city. What happened?
I said we live fast because we don't expect to live long. You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to get to it, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm actually 40. I gotta start thinking about retirement. I gotta start thinking about what's that gonna be like, right? Like who's gonna take care of me, right?
Don't start that because I got 10 years on both of y'all, and I'm already been thinking about that. It's about 9:46. What I'd like to do, and I like the way this flowed, because sometimes in our authenticity, it as a host, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure we end, on a good note. And I love that we're coming to a point where you're talking about accomplishments. And what I want to do to sort of get ready to wrap up is ask you to talk about your give back. What is it that you're doing out of passion, as far as your give back? And I'll start with Props, only because folks, kind of know Drive Boston and stuff with Darrin, but I want to ask him to do that as well, away from like Drive Boston, like present give back, to a point now where it's a little bit different from direct service. It is actually at a different macro level. So Props, what's your, with all being considered, and you can get me later, but I tell folks all the time, Props is, and my aunt said it, Auntie Java said it, Mama Java said it. They knew there was more to Props than what, meets the eye, whatever. And so what do you do as far as like give back in your own way to just address a lot of the stuff that, we see? Why?
Nothing. I'm a black Republican. Nothing. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
All right. What's up?
I had to create a laugh. It was too serious.
Jesus God.
Nah, to be honest with you, the same spark that I had, the same curiosity that I had as a kid, I want to inspire the next. You know what I'm saying? Like obtaining so much information over the years or what have you, and learning that the technology and the industries and everything has changed. James, you still have yet to even talk about the gaming systems. You know what I'm saying? Like being somebody that had that hip hop influence, the graffiti influence, but being able to cross over to the corporate side of things, I'm able to speak both languages. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had the young
And
kids
understand them from the corporate.
yeah,
And understand.
like, but I love. Let me take this back. I love communicating with the future. You know what I'm saying? They keep me on my toes. Like speaking to my 13-year-old niece, she's always hipping me to like new slang, but what they're involved with and this, that, and the third. So like I can always take a peek at what's coming down the pipeline next, trend wise, and this, that, and the third. And that always helps me with marketing and this, that, and the third. But being a part of their life to go, oh, you like video games? I can help you with this. Let's create a video game, or you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. Just trying to set an example to let them know, like, all right, yeah, you too could live like this or better. You know what I mean? Like, let's start you now. And that's where my focus of give back is. You know what I mean? Like, not so much tangible items. You know what I'm saying? And James, you could contest to this. You give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I want to give everybody the tools that they need to grow. And that's it is what it is. I'm in cahoots with a lot of people speaking of their own business or what have you. Let me help you. Like that it is what it is.
Just
So,
just a little plug. The graphics and all that other stuff. The interactive digital marketing of this brother is not just a skill set, but he has the ability to talk to you and turn it into something visual. Darrin, I'm going to ask you sort of on a different frame and challenge you a little bit. How do you foresee your give back in this post 40 sort of OG, like sitting back, chilling? How is your give back going to sort of change?
I think that my give back now is to really, and it's going to sound a little bit weird, but it's going to be actually falling back to focus on self. And what I mean by that is that I feel this narration has to get out. Like there's, as Props highlighted, there's not enough of this narration out there, right? Like of the folks that ended up transitioning to get to what is deemed a certain level of success by a population that doesn't see themselves that way, right? I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this bubble of this cycle, right? And in order for them to be motivated, they need those tangible motivations. There's no doubt in my mind, there has to be that example for someone to say, if that person can do it, so can I. I can relate. I can connect. I understand what they're going through. So this year is about really trying to, and it's gonna. And Props, I'm glad you in the A, because, and I'll drop a little bit for Java with Jimmy, because you know Java loves dropping jewels and being breaking news, right? So I'm working on a biopic, but not just any biopic for the city of Boston. It's to really highlight the fact that there's inequality when it looks at the population of the urban environment of Boston. If they only focus on Black Boston, it's around some segregation or racism or anything like that. But when they look at entertainment from sports, they look at Mark Wahlberg, they look at Ben Affleck, they focus on the Charlestown, North End, South Boston community, right? From movies and things like that. So I'm in dialogue with some people around how to create an urban pathway through sharing this journey in a way that really highlights, you know, what someone can be going through in the Boston Black community, right? Where it's not about the song and dance, but just this is urban life in Boston, you know, and really highlighting the Roxbury, the JP, especially the Dorchester, where I'm from, community. So So I'm working on that.
Don't forget South End. Props is from South End. They got
South End's a balance. Props know that. He's from the beat. He knows that.
Don't worry about it. I was never confined to the South End. Ask about me. I was in every hood.
But y'all know, but Props, that's something that where, you know, has it been done? Where is that type of, it ain't the Blue Hill Ave movie, you know, it's not that type of situation. It's around really looking at.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me the New Kids on the Block doesn't depict Dorchester correctly? Is that
Melville
what you mean
Ave?
to tell me?
I mean, Melville Ave is Melville Ave, you know. even if it is in Carter Square. But it's something that I think that, you know, for me, I just feel like it is the give back. If I can highlight that throughout the challenges and obstacles, I've still been able to connect to different dignitaries, really have certain type of life experiences, despite not having a college degree, despite not, you know, like having traveled in a different path. But what if someone would avoid that initial journey, right? Like, what about if you could start like my little man is now, where it's like, no, let's get you 50, 60,000 a year. Let's figure out, you know, how you don't just have early parenthood. Let's make sure you don't have a Corey. Let's make sure that you're doing everything at least to put you in a position to be successful, right? Like, and your success is going to be by your definition. My success is just being in a state of peace, right? I don't want to have certain, if I feel like going out to Roof Chris and get me a steak, I want to feel comfortable doing that, right? It doesn't have to be a special occasion. That's the type of peace I was looking at, of just being in that level of comfort. So my give back moving forward is not stopping the drive, not stopping helping out with K's, not stopping out in that sense, but really focusing on how to get this narration out there in hopes that someone will be motivated to be like, yo, if D could do that, I know skies is the limit. Let me figure it out, you know, and that's what worked for me. And I believe it can work for others.
That's what I'm on.
So speaking of that's what I'm on, I'll just make a suggestion, D. When you get ready to need your visuals, there's a good brother right here that will hear your vision and make sure it's reflected. Make sure it's reflected in the marketing and the visuals. And so, yo, I really appreciate both of you. More Props and I conversed about, you know, how this was going to flow and things like that. And to be honest, you know, since yesterday, and I did this to him privately, and I'll do it to him personally, to where we got to a point in the chat and whatnot where I was reacting to Props like I do on the phone. And so in public, if you all don't know our dynamics, it could have given a certain impression of Props's total attitude toward, you know, firearms and things like that. So I'm saying this publicly as well and apologizing to you, Props. However, with all of that being said, today was really.
Mom's right here. Don't apologize. I know what you meant. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want everybody to. Look, James.
Whoa, Brian's oh, what?
But you know what's so interesting? That's where I could say it's frustrating for me. Like, no matter how much I've changed in Massachusetts, they'll never give me the right to own a firearm, right? They'll never give me a license. And that's where it's like, hey, I transitioned now. Why can't I be illegally?
And this is why I wanted to go further in the conversation separately from today. Like, again, like, no matter what laws are in place, they're only in tune with the people who follow laws. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Massachusetts can't have anything more than 10 in the clip. Like, are you serious?
We get ready to wrap up because you're all going to go down a whole different path. We're going to parking lot this until
but I agree with Props said. Props said, like, it became that type of attitude. Like, yo, I can have this, so I am going to have this, right? Like I'm not going to.
Oh, better yet. Oh, I can't buy one across the counter. Let me call my cousin from Maryland real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they still exist, is what I'm saying. Right. And if they exist, you're gonna restrict people due to an imaginary state line. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come on, man.
We're going to actually come back and have a convo about that, and really talk about impact, talk about gun law. I think at some point, and Rachel asked me about this yesterday, and I'm going to say it, and Props, there's no response. There's an economic impact around firearms and whatnot. We talk minimally about it too, about Smith and Wesson's move from Massachusetts to a different state, and how that decision.
Y'all got Smith and Wesson in Massachusetts. Y'all got Sig Sauer in New Hampshire, and y'all got, what is it, CZ in Vermont. These are three major gun companies. Major gun companies.
In New England.
They're not privately owned. These are publicly stocked and traded companies.
There's a whole he walks away. There's a whole economic impact, in that conversation. But one of the major things I want to thank you both for is always the support, the friendship, the brotherhood, but your authenticity today, because I believe that some young man and even some young woman that loves a young man and everything in between we'll listen to this and we'll figure out a way, Props, to get some clips, because there was nuggets in here today that I think just 15 seconds is going to get somebody's attention to be able to listen from some brothers. And as my aunt said, and I didn't know she used this, I didn't know she knew how to use this language, but she said something about cred or something like that. And I had to look up and be like, Auntie Java knows how to apply the word. Oh, here we go. A whipping left you to live another day and gave you cred. And so I appreciate the authenticity, because it does bring a level of credibility. So what we're going to do, Darrin, I would probably go ahead.
No, I was just saying I love the Javettes.
Oh, Javettes and Java Bros. Darrin, I was getting ready to say, if you want, we can, we're about to do some plug-in and merch, and I, if you want to get off, I can let you off.
Oh yeah, trust me, it's been always a pleasure. Love this space. Props, definitely appreciate being invited to your shared space. I know that was initially James trying to.
Bro, trust me, you helped me out today, because it would have been a lot darker and a lot grimmer if it wasn't for you. Like, I get deep, and James is like, "Don't get too deep." Yo, bro.
Darrin, if you ever, oh my Jesus, sometimes I'm on the phone. Shout out to Katie. Hope she's listening in the background or listening, watching. Always hear me. Katie B, let him go. Let him go. But no, Darrin,
Thank you to the Java family. Your comments is never, unnoticed or in reactions. For me, this is therapeutic. That's why I like doing it. Like, truthfully, that's why I be like, let's do another one. Nope, you're not going to get that though, James. You're not going to get a calendar and a schedule again. We know my schedule and your schedule on the same page. So, but this is therapeutic, because I prefer a conversation. I don't like to just do a live and rant. So it's like a dialogue. It can go anywhere. So anytime anybody wants to chop it up on Java, I'm like, seasoning a show that way. Java, y'all let me know, we'll make it happen. So
it's going to happen, and I think a lot more as well. And to my aunt's point, I wasn't always in the church and ministry. I was like, oh my geez, all right, Auntie Connie. So there was something I was going to say real quick, but Darrin, I won't leave you on here, because me and Props about to do some shit.
Yeah, y'all do what y'all got to do.
But we gotta have the before you go, we do want to have the moment of silence that you facilitated.
Yep. So, and honor of just again, we're still living in these times. We're trying to get back to some sense of normalcy. But unfortunately, we're still not gathering at the way that we have traditionally gathered. So with that, for all those who have unfortunately lost a loved one due to violence, natural causes, let's take a moment of silence to just appreciate their memory. Thank you. And again, I will see you all soon. Let's get it.
Are you coming to Boston?
Yeah. All right, I got you.
We'll talk, everybody. We'll talk. Oh, hold on. Darrin, now, when I know you've crossed over into the old head, when I see you, James, I picked up one of those things. You going to get a dog and have him running around in the white picket?
I'm looking for one now. So anybody got any blue nose pits? Let me know. Shout out to the network. Anybody got some puppies? Let me know. In the mood for a dog right now. So
And y'all, Jesus Lord. All right, because that could go a whole, because then y'all get to talking about dogs and props.
Nope. I gotta go anyway. Gotta meet.
You gotta meet. All right, brother. Love you, man. Listen, everybody. There's Nino. There is Nino. Hi, buddy. Watch when he hears. Well, maybe he can't hear it too clear. Nino. He can't hear you. He sees me. Hi, buddy.
Headphones.
Well, take off headphones so they can see him hear my voice. Anyway, we're going to do some shameless plugs. Don't forget, I have 7th and Peachtree here. Props and Katie are about to send flight B61519 other way, brother. We're learning. Yo, this needs to be a screenshot. We'll go back and do a what do you call it, thumbnail later. You know what? I just really realized you made that bigger in the shot, and on the website, the one that you like more is bigger. Why? I don't understand.
It was just I didn't
whatever.
I wasn't using photo equipment, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
So let me say something. When this one came out, Props was like, it smells good or whatever. When the other batch was done, I got a call after hours. Yo. So we already know now that Props likes the other one better. He anyway. Both of them smell good, in my opinion. So make sure you go to javawithjimmy.com and hit the shop tab in order to order yours. They are on sale until we haven't made a definitive date yet. But right now, till probably the 11th, that Friday. And then if you're hustling over the weekend trying to get your boo something, yesterday's price wouldn't be the 11th price. But go to javawithjimmy.com and get your, and the reason that we have priced them the way that they are, and I'll be honest, we did a cost analysis last night, and we didn't even count in labor. These are hand poured, and Props, what's my word?
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. Katie said it last night.
What's my word?
Double wood wick.
Yeah, but you got to say it right. Double wood wick.
Double wood wick.
Yes.
Double
wood wick. There's 2 wood wicks in here that will get, keep your candle burning. And technically, I can. You know what? Let's do it.
I'm not lighting this one.
Mine's is cured, and so I can light mine as of yesterday. And so we're going to go ahead and light it right now on camera so I can start smelling up my house.
You okay?
So y'all don't understand. I'm feeling a little warm and fuzzy right now because this has went from an idea that Props had, and we talked about it, to going through scent combinations, going through looking up what is the best wax, going through them, losing our first order of wax, getting oils down there in Atlanta, and it's just kind of dope to sit here and see a curated candle, a Java with Jimmy scented candle, 7th and Peachtree. This one is fruity fresh. Even though with these wonderful glasses, let me see it.
Why you got the light in there, the computer? Yo, who doesn't keep a light in there, the computer? What else you want to see near the computer? You know what I'm saying?
With your red, anyway. Yo. It hasn't fully taken scent yet. You can still smell a little bit that is burning, but
yeah, bro, trust me, yo, the way that we did that, it's going to flood your house. It's going to flood your house. The whole house is going to be like,
y'all said, yeah. So go to javawithjimmy.com, get your candle. There are only about 10 of each left. Don't go by the numbers on there because a couple of members of the Mothers Board, they was trying to get it online, and I told them, just tell me what they want, and when we deliver it. And so shout out to a couple of members of the Mothers Board, but get your candles, javawithjimmy.com. Hoodies are there, and also we have the love mug available to you as well. So go get yours, javawithjimmy.com. I just lit my curated candle. Wow. Support a Black-owned business. javawithjimmy.com, shop page. Props, is that it?
Is it? I feel like there's something else we should be saying. Hoodies.
I didn't say hoodies.
Hoodies are available right now. We're limited in quantities there. You've already sold out of certain sizes and everything. Love Mug is available right now. It's filled with chocolate. You might want to hurry up and get that before Valentine's Day because I'm not sure how long James could hold on to this chocolate. A gift comes with your candles for everyone who does purchase a candle prior to Valentine's Day. You do get a free gift. What else is there? Yeah, that's about it. Oh, new merch drop coming. I can't even tell you about those.
Oh, yeah. They're not merch yet because when they come out, they're going to be exclusive.
Which means not everybody could get it. Ooh.
Kind of given to some people. I'll just say you got more potential to maybe get this one if you've ever been referred to as a charter member. So
yeah, that's coming out. We are stylizing Jimmy a little bit better. He's burning the hat that you see on him right there.
Did you say burying?
Burning. We're burning that hat. But yeah, there are a few other things already in the works that should be hitting the runway.
Come on, let's take a sip.
I'm out of Red Bull.
You're so wrong.
Yeah, so shop javaconyemi.com.
It's so interesting because there's Your Healthy Java has had an influence, and I just found out that there's something like that similar going on, I think, on El Mundo. And so anyway.
El Mundo.
Yo, this was dope today. We are kind of long. I can see that folks are needing to go to work and all this other stuff. Let's do a quick sweep of the comments. Want to get off,
what's up? Y'all want to be entertained?
Yeah, Rachel, we're burning the hat. I got assignment to get some other things done. Lasagna, yours is coming. Now you just let me know if you want us to wait for delivery or go ahead and drop them in the mail. We can do that. And I think that is it. I was where is Rachel talking about?
She was talking about she can't believe how the light is near the computer.
Oh,
and I was like, and then I started pulling everything that I had near my computer closer to the computer.
Rachel's like, wait, what did I come in on? She between handling just taking care of things on a Friday morning. Rachel, appreciate you and everything you do. Rachel's a part of the team.
Rachel, I need stats on retro games because James got a surprise that he wants to announce. You know what I'm saying?
Rachel, I will
we're talking like Atari, like 70s. I need like 70s to like 2000s.
Are we having a mini team meeting right here on live?
I'm just letting everybody know. Yo, if you don't know, make sure you tune in to javawithjimmy.com because I usually say it in Spanish. javawithjimmy.com. You know what I'm saying? They get your latest news, merch, and updates in the Boston community because it is a driven platform. You know what I'm saying?
I love you, brother. I'm getting off of here. I can smell it. I can smell it without even going. It's the oil starting to pop.
I told you, bro.
I'm gonna put it in the living room so I can get the whole house.
Hakuna Matata. Hasta luego. Kumbaya. Hang tai. Ciao.
If you ever get an email from Props, all of that is in his signature.
Yeah, bro.
That being said, just one quick thing. I'm gonna hold you on here till we get ready to go. We got a couple of things coming up on Monday. Don't forget, Dr. Brandy is back with us at 9 a.m. Right now, if she lets me know over the weekend, as she has mentioned, her grandfather's transitioning, we will have it covered on Monday. And then Monday, we're talking again about Black mental wealth. Support Black-owned businesses, javawithjimmy.com shop page. Our Royce Veal is coming in. He's a business mentor. And we're going to have a conversation around a business and a winning and a boss mentality from a Black mental wealth standpoint. So that is programming for next week. I don't think I have a whole lot of guests lined up for next week. Maura Haley is in process. Andrea Campbell is in process. Tanya.
You might kick it with the mayor, Miss Wu. You know what I'm saying?
She'll be coming next week. next week. We ain't nothing going on next week. We don't have no idea of Mayor Wu coming next week. Not that I know of.
I was just talking.
Props, I'm getting off my camera, Jesus. Lord have mercy. Anyway, guys, we've held you a little bit long the last couple of days. Thank you so much for your patience and endurance. Props, we dropped down to 11 people, so we need to let them go. Shout out to the faithful and held on to the end. Yo, this really smells good. All right, I'm going to enjoy my candle. I'll check in with you after I go eat.
And I got to do breakfast.
Okay. Love you, Katie and Nino.
Hold on.
She'll watch it, or she's probably watching. Now we can't hear. We love you, Katie.
All right, she heard.
I heard, as I always do, my sisters. Yo, there's times we're on the phone and Props will say something and I'll say something smart back, and Katie will back me up with just a little like snicker. You hear it in the background now?
Yo, shout out to Naraki. Naraki says she just ordered her candles, plural.
Naraki, you just now see Naraki. What you call it? We will see. Listen. I really appreciate y'all's. Rachel ordered hers yesterday. Mama,
check it out. I got extra labels, right? So I'm about to start bootlegging these candles for $22.99. Come order them with me. You won't get your free gift, but
I'm getting you
off. A label.
I'm getting you off of here. What is Ma trying to write?
I don't know. That look German.
Uders. Oh, juicy beers. Lord have mercy. Ma. Ma is trying to let us know that you get an hour and a half for their community participation credit today. Ma was excited to let them know and just hit a cup. Or it's actually just a typo because Ma is using text slang. You see that ND?
Yeah.
And what
yeah.
is with Mama and Aunt Java today trying to say, you know what? Let's let people go. I'm getting off of here. Tay, good to see you. Give Mom and family my best, hun. And we'll talk soon. And I think that's it for me. Props, you got a good belly laugh off of that.
Yo, I'm crying right now.
Ma's like, yo, UCB is get an hour and a half, ND. And it was only one typo. Just in the so that was on me. Oh God. And she coming back say, Ma, say good morning to everybody. Ma is the church. Ma is the Java Cafe mama. Mama Java. Up here.
She the usher.
She's really an usher, Props, at the church.
I'm glad you called your mother an usher, yo.
She is. My mother is a full-fledged usher at Jesus. What's the name of Monty's church? Ma, what's the name of the church you go to? Jesus. Tabernacle. Props, I'm getting you off my thing.
Y'all have to buy these at the store.
I know that I'm still, that's just, we don't know how many healthy Java folks are watching. So
I drink my Red Bull already. I'm good.
What is that? That's not water.
What's up with y'all in this water? I bet you there's water in here. Look. Carbonated water is the first ingredient, which means it's the predominant ingredient in this can.
Mm-hmm. And all them other
chemicals. Get out of here.
All them other TTOP, the Tabernacle of Praise. Miles are full-fledged.
On Blue Hill.
No, Randolph.
Oh,
out there down the street from Mother.
Probably.
We're getting off of here, y'all. Thank y'all who endured us till the end. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We're going to have Props and Darrin back again real soon. And I think we covered everything. JavaWithJimmy.com. Shop at what?
I got to get out of here. Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something about Ma.
I don't bootleg cups. Just candles.
Y'all have a wonderful day. And we'll talk to y'all on Wow. We're going to be off. Hold on.
Who's that?
Who you thinking it? Darrin, we're still on. Say hello to the people still.
Oh, what's going on, people? With y'all when James finished.
All right, I'll hit you right back in 2 minutes. All right. Props, let me get off of here so I can get up take it. Oh, crap. I got 11 o'clock. Too long today. All right, appreciate y'all. We are off of here. Have a wonderful day.
I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
And we'll see y'all Monday at 9 a.m. Peace.